the train come. You don't need no baggage, you just get on board. All right, folks, it's Nichols Live time, and I am Larry Nichols. I can't find the number for the call in, to listen live line, so y'all just go to the Facebook page, it's there. Later in the program, if you want to call in, it's 501-499-6022. And if you want to text me, it is 440-897-0611. Now, having said that, let me tell you, for those of you that were listening, I did a 5-minute or so blip with Alex Jones. And I will be going on about 30 minutes after this program with Alex. So just looking here for a second at some messages I've gotten. And I'll go on 30 minutes after our program back with Alex for a segment. The number for Listen Live is 401-283-6754. And I've already gotten from Simon, thank you, 100. Tom, thank you, 50. So we're 150 into what we've got to have today. Well, as a matter of fact, so did Peter and Kimberly. So we're 200 of what we've got to have today right out of the chutes. That's wonderful. Believe me. Wonderful, wonderful, wonderful. All right. Listen, everybody's talking about the meeting with Bill Clinton and Loretta Lynch. Just like, well, let me tell what happened yesterday. It's hard for me to tell without hurting. I apologize to y'all. I couldn't do the program yesterday because I lost Ralph. Now, I know he was just a dog to many people. When we got him, he was crippled. The way we got Ralph was my wife found on the internet there was a little English bulldog, and we loved English bulldogs. We'd had one. And he was crippled. And so they were trying to raise money. This clinic in Jacksonville was trying to raise money to get him the special surgery that they needed to correct his front legs. She asked me, was there any way? And we didn't have it, but we said, yeah. And we sent $25. They took the puppy to the operation, and then they found out that he was born that way. His little legs weren't broken. They were born that way. And Ralph, if you can imagine, an English bulldog, looked like the Georgia bulldog. He walked on his elbows on his front 2 feet. When we got him, well, so then they found out they couldn't do the surgery, and they wanted somebody to adopt him. Well, nobody would adopt him because he was crippled. And we couldn't just let him suffer, so we said we would adopt him, and we did. They figured he would live about a year because with his front legs the way they were, it'd be too much pressure on his chest, and his heart would play out. When we got Ralph, he didn't know he was crippled. He didn't. He hopped like a rabbit. It was funny. It was the cutest thing you ever saw, him hopping around with other dogs. And then he became my buddy. He was there with me every day. I had to pick him up to put him up on the couch when he wanted on the couch. I had to help him get water. I had to help him do everything. But he was always there. And then earlier in the week, we lost Tinkerbell. She was our golden lab. We had rescued her. She had been thrown out of a car on the interstate when she was a puppy. She lived 13 years. Ralph lived 8. And every day, as most of you know, when I would do my show, he would be right there by me on the couch. You know, I learned from him. He had everything in the world going against him. Everything. But he fought through it. He did. And Tinker and Ralph, and now we've got Pluto, the black lab that we rescued. They taught me unconditional love. And I wish more humans would be like the animals than the way we are. I'll miss him very much. So with that, Loretta Lynch. Bill Clinton and Loretta Lynch supposedly had a chance meeting in Phoenix. Oh, and by the way, thank you all for your wishes, well wishes. There were a bunch of you sent them. Thank you. Supposedly the meeting was a chance meeting. It wasn't. Supposedly Bill Clinton was in Phoenix in 108-degree temperature playing golf. He wasn't. Supposedly Loretta Lynch was planning to just stop off in Phoenix for just a minute and then fly to her destination. It wasn't. Phoenix wasn't on her schedule. She lands, and what people I don't think are covering enough, they met on another plane. They didn't meet on her plane. They met on another plane. Why? They stopped both of their Secret Service details from coming, and they met privately. Why? They made the media that was following shut their cameras off. Well, that you could fairly well expect. That you could expect. So when I was on with Alex, he said, "What do you think?" Folks, there's not a what I think went on. It's what I know went on. Because I've done it. I did it for them all the time. One of 3 things happened, or all 3 happened. 1, Bill Clinton, I'm sure, made it very clear to Loretta Lynch that Hillary would love to have her continue on as Attorney General when she got elected president. Oh, he said that. I'll guarantee you he said that. Then I will bet he handed her a slip of paper that had a couple of the career prosecutors that are on the case, stuff that they had on them. And she was to make sure that those career prosecutors understood that if they went on, or any of them went on and tried to pursue it, and or when it gets thrown out, if any of them decide to open their mouths and tell that they were coerced into what they did or to not indict him, that was simply to let them know that they would be destroyed. 2 things. A 3rd thing. When the case of the emails is thrown out, there's going to be a giant fervor, they believe. And so what he most probably told her, this would have come directly from Hillary. They would like to see her be more aggressive in prosecuting people that dared to speak out about it. Now, I'm sure he told her what I would have told her. Look, you don't have to prosecute a whole bunch of people. Don't need you to prosecute a bunch of people. Just, I started ding. All I don't know what that ding was. All right, we're at about 7,425 listening in. Now there's hostage situation in Bangladesh in the diplomatic district. And then we got another 25. Thank you from Carla. Thank you so much. I got this. My weekly donation was just sent. Thank you, Carla. Thank you. So they told her, or Bill told her that, you don't have to prosecute a lot of people. You won't probably have to prosecute more than a half a dozen people that speak out. And then that will shut everybody down. Now, folks, if you've never gone through a Clinton roast, like the old things where they used to roast Dean Martin and all these celebrities, if you've never gone through one of those, it's tough. I've been through it. But I deserved it because I had done it to a lot of people. It'll destroy you. And then when they prosecute people, regular everyday citizens that dare to speak out, the citizens are going to find out that they don't have the money. You see, when the full weight and power of the government is brought down on you, the individual, in a prosecution, folks, it's horrendous. It's almost impossible to deal with. I know about that as well. They did it to me. In my case, I was able to handle it. But I was only able to handle it because I could do most of my own law. So I handled mine pro se. I didn't have to depend on an attorney. So that's the three things they did. That's what they talked about. I guarantee you, one or all of those things were talked about, with the greatest probability it being all. And what leads you to believe, Larry, that they would do such a thing knowing that they would be caught? I'll answer you this way. They're not afraid of us anymore. They're not afraid. And they believe when Hillary gets off for the email thing, when she gets off, that people will rise up, but if they rise up, then they're scheduled and ready to put people down that do. And some point along the way, we, all of us, are to give up. That's right, we are to give up. We are to become so disillusioned, so disheartened, that we just give up. It'll be harder then for us to grow our army, because people will say, golly, I tried once and nothing happened, and I did this and nothing happened, and now this and nothing happens. So why? Why do we try? That's what you'll be told. Be ready. Be ready to be told that. But here's what you do when you're told that. Increase your belief that we can win. You see, we got to win. As Washington did, crossing the Delaware, the votes are burned. We've got nowhere to go. We fight this day or we die. This day, we fight or we die. Now, we got to make that choice, y'all. We do. Nobody's going to make it for us. We've got to make it. So, be prepared. There's nothing they're going to tell us. There's nothing you're going to see that I'm going to let surprise you. There's not. I'm going to keep you well informed about what's going on. But we're going to win. We are going to win. Now, another thing that's going to happen, by the way, you'll notice this plane ordeal happened coming up to the 4th of July weekend. So it's making quite a stink right now. But very soon, it'll be old news. And this event is showing you, I hope, the importance of 40-40-20. 40-40-20. The 40% that want Hillary, this, getting off it, being indicted for the email, getting off the Benghazi deal when the Republicans capitulated, don't mean a thing. To be quite honest, if she were to get indicted, the 40% that love her would just claim as mean old dirty Republicans. Republican trick. Nothing's going to change their mind. For the 40% that hate her, guess what? Nothing's going to change our mind. If she gets off, it's not going to make any difference. We know what happened. It's quite obvious for anybody who's got eyes what happened. You can see it. But that 20% that don't care, this is where this is hitting. You see, they know that this meeting is no big deal because they know it's not going to change the 40% that love it, the 40% that hate it. That ain't going to matter. It's that 20% that don't care. And you know what? It happened on the 4th of July weekend, so guess what? They're all fired up to go to the lake, have their cookouts, drink their beer. This don't mean a thing to them. Matter of fact, they don't even know about it. Probably don't even know about it. Now I heard Rush Limbaugh and others say that this is different because even the mainstream media seems to be fired up about this. They're not. They're not. Oh, they'll cover it. And oh, yeah, they'll cover their backsides by asking and seemingly asking tough questions. And they will talk about how inappropriate the meeting was. But anybody that dares to speculate what was discussed during that plane meeting will be considered a conspiracy theorist. That's right. Now, does it matter to them that I've actually done it for the Clintons, that I've been through this exercise before myself for them? Nah. See, under law, it's he said, she said. We used to call it, if the tree falls in the woods and there's nobody around, does it make a sound? Did you ever think about that? If a tree falls in the woods and there's nobody around to hear it, does it really make a sound? Now, what we resolved as a part of the Clinton Playbook was it don't matter. It don't mean a thing. If nobody was there to hear it fall, whether it made a sound or not, it don't matter. Nobody heard it. Nobody. Well, nobody heard the tree fall in the 20% that don't care. So this event you see don't matter. Wait, say, well, it's going to get headlines. No, I'm sorry. It's going to get some headlines, but just for example, that story in Bangladesh where they've taken some 20 people hostage in the diplomatic community. That's going to be a big story. Another attack by moheds. But of course, it's not radical Islam. Of course, it's not fundamental Islamic terrorism. Of course, it's not that. Although they were hollering Allah Akbar. That ain't terrorism in this government's eyes. So it'll be buried by this story. See how this works? Just like a machine. Just like a machine. Every time. Misdirection here, misdirection there. And when you got to do something, you do it. But you play the odds. Yes, it'll make a little bit of noise. Yes, it'll be sort of a stink. But it was probably, according to the Clintons, more important that they get to Lynch and tell her she's got a job when Hillary gets elected, and to make sure Lynch knows to tell those federal prosecutor, full-time, professional prosecutors, if you want to keep your job, be careful. Yeah. Don't make a sound of that 20%, does it? That's what I mean. The tree fell. But in their eyes, the 20% of the people that don't care weren't there, so they didn't hear it, so it don't matter. And they truck on. And then for our 40%, it's another example of why we need to just quit and give up. We just need to give up. Because it just don't matter. And there's nothing that we can do about it, so they want us to believe. Now, another story that's making a little bit of news is they have opened up the military to the transgender sect. Now, folks, I cannot imagine. I just can't even imagine what this move will do to the morale of our troops. I just can't. Standing by a guy, standing by a guy dressed in a dress claiming he's a woman, or a woman claiming she's a man. And of course, once they get in the military, I figure, if they want to get a sex change, they can get it paid for. Horrible. Destroys our military from the inside out. From the inside out. And for what? A group of people that don't constitute a half of 1% of our society. Really, the real ones that are so mentally demented that this is for real to them. They really are confused. It's not a half of a percent of the population. But they're willing to put that into the military. They're willing to put that into our schools. They're willing to put that into our shopping centers and stores, etc. Mississippi as an example, passed a law. Mississippi passed a law saying that in Mississippi, a merchant can deny doing business with somebody if they do not want to do business with a homosexual. Well, the federal government's pounced all over it. Federal judge has already ordered that law in stay, which means you can't implement that law until it's adjudicated in the federal court. Now, here we go again. Mississippi, let me tell you, if that's a law you passed, that's a law you can enforce. And when the federal government says, no, you can't, you need to say, this is our state, not yours. In Mississippi, if you accede to the federal government, to that federal judge, if you accede and call off that law, then you've given it another bit of power that it does not have. And that is our problem. Time and time again, states have acceded. In other words, they have given up freely their due, lawful power and just given it up to the federal government. Especially appalling when you understand that our Constitution is 100% against that. The 10th Amendment's clear. It's clear. States are sovereign. They are. But you got to act like it. You've got to stand up. You know, I see Mississippi and giving in to the federal government, much like I see in the Constitution, 10th Amendment, much like I see these churches that are called apostate churches. Hold on, I got Arthur sent 15. Thank you, Arthur. Thank you so much, buddy. You know, I see these apostate churches and their position on Islam, an enemy of Christ, their position on homosexuality, an enemy of Christ, to sin. It's the same thing as going to the 10 Commandments, and let's just pick one or two of the commandments that today we just don't want to honor. And so the church rewrites the 10 Commandments and makes it 6 commandments or 8 commandments and take the ones they don't like out. I guess they could do that. I guess they are doing it. But it don't make it right. Well, through our states, we are doing the same thing. We're picking and choosing our Constitution, leaving out those things we don't want to deal with. But if I were in Mississippi, all of you in Mississippi, I'd be in touch with my local representative, state rep. I'd get in touch with my state senator. And I would let them know, I'd let them know real clear, that if you accede to the federal government on this issue, I'll see to it that you never hold office again. I'll tell my friends, my family, everyone I can get my hand on, and you will never hold office again because we're tired of it. Now that's what I'd do. That's what we all better do. Now we're at the halfway point, so let me do this. I'm going to open the phone lines, 501-499-6022. 501-499-6022. And let me do the first commercial, which is just technically the second one. I need your help if you're out there. I do. I really, really do. Go to PayPal, Nichols Live at AOL.com. You can also go to Larry Nichols, Conway, Arkansas on Facebook. There's a button there you can push. You can also go to Larry Nichols Live on YouTube, and there's a button there, and you don't have to be a part of PayPal. You can use a charge card, a credit card, debit card. But I have to ask, and I need your help. So, with that, if any of you want to call in, today's a good day to do it. I remind you that if I can at all, that's why I'm kind of trying to hold my energy level down. But 30 minutes after I get off here, if I can at all, I will go on with Alex Jones. Now, why is that important? Simply because it exposes us to more and more people. More and more people. If you don't believe we're nearing the end of this country, if you don't believe that, I don't know what to say to you. I believe, as many of you, that if we don't get back hold of our government and shut it down, that Washington, D.C. shut it down, God has to take it out on us, or he's going to have to apologize to Sodom and Gomorrah, and I don't believe he's going to apologize. I just don't do it. God don't make mistakes. He didn't create queers. He didn't. They're not born that way. Let me see what I got here. Hold on. Got 10 in from Joanne. Thank you, Joanne. Appreciate you so much, all of you. Think about it. We're nearing the end. We are now just a few months away from the greatest nation on earth being over. Can you visualize that? Can you get that in your head? We're just a few months away from November 3rd, I think. November 3rd. This nation will do one of two things. It will cease to exist as we have known it, and it will become a communist dictatorship under the disguise of a democracy, or we take the first step to bringing it back to what it was supposed to be. Just a few months. Just so very few months. And what I don't think I have got y'all to believe thoroughly yet, if you're with me, if you will help me, we will be the vanguard force that can stop Clinton and what they're doing to us. We're it. We can be it. If we stay together, fight as a cohesive army, there's plenty enough of us. Plenty enough. Now, I wish there were more. And you know what? There would be more. But there's not yet. Just not yet. More. But what we got plenty. As long as everybody is willing to drink from the water like a human get the water, cup your hands. If you're the one, like Gideon was told by God, if you're the one that just sticks your face in the water and laps it up like a dog, you're not made of the right stuff. You're not. I want y'all to help me. This will be my last ride. This will be my last rodeo. And I owe it to this great nation. I owe it to all of the people that have fought and died to give us what we've had. Now, guys, I've already done, I did it the other day, the 4th of July program. Told you about the fireworks display, what it meant, what it was about. I hope it registered with you. I hope you're still thinking about that. And I hope you remember, if you don't remember any of the rest of it, well, it's simple. Firecrackers were the muskets being fired. This is what people heard outside of Baltimore, or in Baltimore when the fighting was going on in the War of 1812. The firecrackers, that's the musket fire at the distance. Bottle rockets, rockets red glare, that's what that represents. The bombs bursting in air, that's when you see the big explosion from the fireworks mortars. But then, the crescendo. When at the end of the fireworks show, it's just one after another, the sky lights up with red, blue, green, white sparkles. This year, I want you to look up at that and believe the soldier's story, I believe. That is the one time of the year that God lets all of the men and women that have fought and died for this country to put on their dress uniforms, polish their brass to where it shines, shine their boots and shoes, straighten those shoulders back, chest out, and come out for us to see. Look at them. And think, when you look this year at what they paid, the price they paid, and think about what they paid it for. Now, I do not believe those young boys that got off the boats on D-Day, having traversed 1,000 yards of the killing zone, mines, already been bracketed by artillery, machine gun fire. They had to cross 1,000 yards of that in the open. I don't think what we are today is what they did that for. I don't. And I don't think you do either. Or at least I hope you don't. That's not what today's about. It's not what today is meant to be or supposed to be. It's not what they did. And remember the soldier's tale when they come out and we get to see them. Remember what I told you. They're getting to look down on us. This time, let's make them proud. Remember their little sparkle? They don't ever get to hit the earth again. They don't get to come back. If they could come back, and I bet you there's a bunch of them that are just begging and pleading to God, please let me get back down there. I'll stop it. I'll work. I'll do whatever it takes to save the country I fought and died for. I will. That's what they're saying. I bet some of them are. I don't know. And I hope when they're out this 4th of July, when they come out in their dress uniforms, I hope when they look down on us that they don't have a tear in their eyes about what we become. Help me. Help me. Help us live up to what we're supposed to be. We were never meant to be. We were never supposed to be what we are today. Never. Our founding fathers wouldn't even recognize America. Our enemies wouldn't recognize America. Good heavens. If there were a Japanese soldier somewhere on some distant island that never heard the war was over and miraculously was found today, and he was brought back home, do you believe you could convince him that Japan lost the war? Can you? Do you? I don't think he would. And then you've got Islam. Islam is laughing at us. All of Islam is laughing at us because they're getting to take us over with nothing. Nothing. They don't have to invade us. They don't have to invade us. They don't have to attack us. They don't. They can just get a couple hundred of young men and women that are bat crazy, that they can convince to blow themselves up and kill themselves and kill as many of us as they can take with them. That's all they got to have to take us. That's it. And they're high-fiving. They are literally giving high five to each other when they hear that we're bringing 10,000, and that's nothing, probably a fraction of what's actually coming in here. They're laughing that we are literally letting thousands of these people come in here that are unvetted, knowing that 25% or better are terrorists. They don't care. They're high-fiving. We, to them, have capitulated. We're being put in submission without them technically firing a shot. And I bet they're laughing their butts off. Oh, yeah, they're laughing. They're laughing at all of us Christians, at how easy we are to take over. Think about that. They're laughing at us. Well, I'm sure they figured there was going to be this struggle. Good Lord, there was going to be this struggle. There was going to be this battle. It was going to be war. And I'm sure they sat around and figured we're going to lose a whole bunch of our people fighting this war, but we'll win. But we're having, and then to find out we're nothing. We're absolutely nothing. Pose no challenge. How does that make you feel? Coming up on our Independence Day. Because you see, the reason we have Independence Day is because we declared ourselves independent of Great Britain and England. Today, we celebrate that while at the same time we're committing ourselves to be independent on Islam. God, what a mess. What a messed up world we live in. What a shameful place we have become. But as all things with God, it ain't over yet. It ain't over. As long as our hearts are true, as long as we're in the right place with God, He tells us all things are possible. And somewhere, it may not be a scripture, maybe I just made it up, I don't know. But somewhere it seems as though God told us He would never, ever give us more than we can handle. Don't mean we will handle it. But He would never put us in a position that we can't handle. So Alden, are you there? Why don't you do the commercial? Let me get my throat kind of unparched. Folks, I'm going to let Alden do the commercial for me so I can try to get my old dry throat from being so dry. Tell me when you're ready, Alden.
I'm ready.
All right, let her rip, son.
All right. If you're able to help Larry's treatments at all, it would be very appreciated if you could help donate at all. The places to donate are on PayPal at Nichols Live. Please send it to a family and friends, not as purchase. And the other places are on our Facebook. There's a yellow donate button, and if you click on or go to Conway, Arkansas, Larry Nichols, there will be a link to the yellow button, and that yellow button will take you to the donate PayPal. That is where you use a credit card or bank account, and that's how you can transfer money if you don't have a PayPal account. And last way you can help donate is you can send it to his mailing address, which is 58 Kensington Drive, Conway, Arkansas. Larry, correct me if I'm wrong, but it's 72034, right?
Right. You got it.
Okay. And you can send him a money order, a check, or however you want to do it that way. But he just doesn't get it for that day's treatment, so it doesn't necessarily help him there, but at least he will get it and know it's coming.
All right, my buddy. Thank you.
Yep.
All right, folks. That was Alden, my trusty sidekick. He helps a great deal. He brings us a show and he puts it up on the internet. So, with the minutes we've got left, why doesn't somebody call in? Somebody call in. Let's hear what you've got to say. Huh. All right. Okay. Somebody call in. Let me hear your voice today. Y'all hear mine all the time. You know, it's important. I don't even know if y'all are listening. I know people are there, but sometimes I don't know if you're listening. But be a part of the program. Tell people what you think. Sometimes it helps, folks, just to be able to get it out. And I'm getting excuse me, folks, I'm getting a call that's coming in. I'm sorry, what, Alden? I was just getting a call on the phone, folks. Sorry about that. But I guess no one's calling, so I'll keep on then. I gave you a chance. All right, let her rip. Push him through. Hello, caller. All right, caller, are you there?
Hi, it's Mary Ellen. Does he have another call? I'm it?
No. You're it, Mary Ellen.
Okay. All right.
You're on the air. Talk.
Oh, I am. Okay. Hey, Larry.
Yeah.
All right. I was a little confused. Sorry. I just wanted to say that you're somebody that I recognize as a big part of our hope for saving this country. And the daily need for your treatment is so important to keep you coming back, giving us directions. How strong your voice is here at the end of the program with the amount that came in at the beginning, it makes such a big difference. And yet we're still quite a ways short of what you need, especially when we're facing the weekend here and Monday being a holiday. So I'd encourage anybody else who can possibly make a sacrificial gift to stretch to it's a way for Larry to know that he's got the support he needs for what he's going to ask us to do very soon. So that's it.
All right, Mary Ellen, thank you. Just so that y'all know, thanks, Mary Ellen. Just so that y'all know what she's talking about, is there's going to come a time very soon now, very, very soon, where we're going to have to get on that phone and we're going to have to do our job. And what happens to me is I find myself wondering, with 7,000, almost 7,500 people listening live as we do the program, probably 20, maybe 30 people have helped. So that makes me wonder, and I'm not talking about the amount. The amount can be $1. The amount can be $5. It just doesn't matter. But it makes me wonder, will we have 7,500 that will hit the phones? Will we? That's the question. It's just something I have to think about. I need 10,000 people willing to make 5 phone calls. 5. 10,000 people willing to make 5 phone calls to save our nation. 5. And I want to believe that every one of you listening, every one of you, almost 7,500 plus the ones that listen on YouTube and on Leading Edge, I want to believe that every one of you will make those 5 phone calls. 5. But I've got no way of knowing. See, that's what's hard. I've got no way of knowing. So I have to have faith in you, just like I guess you've got to have faith in me. Can I really do again what I was able to do to Bill Clinton? It'll be harder this time because this is Hillary. It'll be harder this time because the country has degenerated so far down that it's hard to get people upset about anything. I mean, we've literally become a country that anything goes. Anything. Give an example. 2008 military appropriations bill. They put in there, the military approved bestiality, having sex with animals. Did you know it was in there? Why on earth would the United States military, as a part of the law of the military, make it acceptable for soldiers to have sex with animals? Does that make sense to anybody? Now, it does when you understand, because we're getting so many Muslims in. I'll tell you that story sometime when I've got time. Then, if that weren't bad enough, now, today, the military is facilitating transgenders to come in. Now, that poses a problem because, there's a situation called women in combat. Women can do most all jobs in the military presently today. But a lot of combat roles, they're not allowed in. Now, let me ask you this. So if a unit is set up to where it's a combat unit, and one of the guy soldiers or a group of the guy soldiers in that combat unit all of a sudden declare themselves to be women, then they don't have to fight, right? Now, we used to call that cowardice. Now, they're just going to call it smart. Just claim they're a female. Claim that they woke up this morning and decided they just really wanted to be a female. And if they get called a female, then they're out of combat, direct combat. See how far nuts we've gone? Are you kidding me? Surely somebody in the military would have fought it. Or at least I would hope they fought it. But I don't know. It sure went through. It's bad enough that we're losing our way spiritually. It's bad enough we're losing our way, but the moral decline of this country has far exceeded any kind of thing I could have ever imagined would happen here, ever. But it's here now. We got to deal with it. So we're going to fight. We're going to get together. I will be here Monday, good Lord willing, and treatments work. I will be here Monday. I don't have it. I don't have what I need yet, but I'll be here Monday. I'll just leave it to y'all, folks. I'll leave it to y'all to help. So, with that, Alden, thread up the music. And truly, guys, I want y'all to have a blessed 4th of July. This weekend. See you Monday.
Over the rainbow, way up high, there's a land that I've heard of once in a lullaby.
All right, folks. 4 people have gone to PayPal today. 4. Please, if you can. I need it within an hour.
The rainbow.
Good Lord willing, creek don't rise, Loretta Lynch don't come get me. I'll see you tomorrow.
There's a land that I've heard of, one in a lullaby.